Okay, we're going to do is today, we're going to make a test, we'll see if it works. We're going to take, Bezrat Hashem, B'siyata D'Shmaya, a pan in the Yeshiva. I brought wine here, dry wine, not cooked wine. Rabbi Ponak brought a machine that can dictate the heat barometer, and with this he's going to check the heat, at what rate it starts evaporating, and what rate it starts evaporating. That's what we want to know. And so Melech, on what, look on the internet, at what rate the dry wine starts to evaporate. What Celsius? We want to check it with the things. So we have the temperatures. We have to first designate the heat we want it to get to.
So you know if it's accurate. You didn't check it.
We're gonna check it in a minute.
If the thermometer is
we're gonna do both. We're gonna do everything now.
Okay.
Yeshua said that we have ice. We have ice. We can do it.
There's water right there. Give me ice.
Put it here next to Rabbi Yeshua. There is a. Put it there. There's a plug there. Put it over there. Move through. Let it go through. Put it inside. We're gonna heat it up. We're gonna make the experiments here in public. See how it works.
Here's ice.
Bring the ice. Very good. 1 second. One by one. We do one by one. One experiment what we learn.
The fire might be like.
Doesn't matter. We want to know the liquid.
Yeah.
It's not. Doesn't matter what's the fire.
No, when
We
you
want
put
what
one-
level the liquid starts evaporating.
But when the-
What does it say in English? 1 second. Melech. 78 degrees? Okay. So what we'll do is, and Yatzaledesbo, what is Yatzaledesbo? What is, find out what degrees is Yatzaledesbo.
That's
45 degrees centigrade.
Let's see, let's check on the internet. Who can check it out? Check it out. Yes. I don't have much wine here, but that's what I have.
What happened to the saucepan?
40.
He went to clean it out. 1 second.
יצולד, הערכות נעות between 45 ל-71 מעלות צלזיוס.
45, okay. So Rabbi Yosef is like this. Before we start, what do we want to get to?
The reason why it's difficult to...
One second, I tell you what. We explain what we're doing today. We're doing today 2 experiments to find out if Moshe Feinstein is right or wrong. Maseches. It's still not 100% because Gabriel mentioned maybe the wine's been through a lot of water, less water in America, more water here, I don't know. But we took a normal wine, which it says Yayin Mevushal, we put it in a pan, and we have a machine that measures the heat. Okay? Now, in order to know if the machine works or not, Rabbi Yoshua said he worked in a lab. He knows the way to do it first. You test if the machine works. What do? You take ice, and you see, quiet. The same what Rabbi Yoshua told us. Rabbi Yoshua told us that's the way to measure it. You take ice, and you put the machine on the ice. You see it gets to 0, right, Rabbi Yoshua?
Yeah.
Once it gets to 0, then you can start measuring.
And 100. 100 for boiling and 0 for ice.
Okay.
And if you do 2 of them, then the machines are supposed to be linear between 0 and 100, the quality equipment.
But that we cannot know, because how can I know, how can I get to 100?
You boil water.
So let's boil water,
Boil
okay?
water, and you put the thermometer in that, and then you put the thermometer in ice water that you swirled, and it's all consistent. 0 for ice water, which is 32 degrees.
Yes.
For ice water, and 100 degrees for boiling water.
Okay.
And
So we need another pan. We have another pan?
linear.
I'll give me another pan. Another room. Quickly.
There's the water right there.
We're gonna have water, we're gonna have ice. We have ice, we have water, and then we're gonna start the checking up with the water. Now what is our goal? What is our goal today? We want to check, after we see that the machine works, what we want to test. The Moshe Feinstein says two major things. Number one, as an option, he says, oi, oi. It's not clear, but he says an option that wine starts to evaporate, starts to reduce its volume or less than 45 degrees. So let's go for 38 degrees. Let's see if it evaporates. How can we see? If we see some any steam comes out, let's go for 40. And then we're going to see to 45.
45 centigrade.
No, 38 I said.
38.
He says less than 45.
And what else you say?
That's one thing we need to check.
That-
Number two, we need to check, he says, second option, which he holds for sure, that 45 degrees, it starts to evaporate. Okay? Which you also know today is not true, but that's what he says. He says when the Shach says, it starts, and it might be dosoi, already by 45, that's his second option. And he says, Reticha means Yatzoled is for 45. So according to Moshe Feinstein, Vadai 45 is Bishul, and Vadai 45 starts to evaporate. We have to check if that's true or not. And then, if we see what he says is right, and if he says it's wrong, so I want to say my pshat. And the Rosh, to me, is very simple. Given the water, we don't need so much water. Do half that side, because we don't have time. Time is limited. Half the water. Rabbi Yoshua, please conduct this. Tell him what to do. You have the ice there. He brought the water. I want those two things together, and then we'll start checking the wine.
Torah's experiment.
It's to be real. We learn in Torah is real or fake? Is it real? Real, let's check it out.
It doesn't work the
Right, Rabbi Shmuel?
You don't have the nice
electricity is not good there.
We do.
You have?
We do, inside other room, yes, I can pour it, yes. We do.
You have there, he did an experiment.
Who did the experience?
Experiment.
Experiment, who did it?
I don't remember his name.
And what he found out?
Found out whatever you remember is true.
What? Whatever it says in the book he found out. Let's see what he found out.
What can I do?
Okay, get your panometer, what is it called? What's the name of your machine that checks? Rabbi Yosef, what's the name?
It's a liquid thermometer. Liquid thermometer.
Thermometer. Okay. A monitor. Thermometer. That's how easy it is. Liquid thermometer. Okay, what? Yes. Thermometer. Okay, so take your machine, put it on the ice.
Bring a coffee cup?
Well, why are you stopping it?
Because there's no power coming in here.
No power. But this one has power.
Not getting it. Hopefully this one.
Okay, this one there has. Go get it. What are we getting there?
Want to bring a coffee cup? For the ice water?
Good. So until we get it right, we're not going to waste time. We're going to start learning what the Moshe Feinstein says. Okay, inside.
It's a plastic one.
Okay. People have the Moshe Feinstein's tshuva, please open.
Okay, on the paper?
Anyone that has the Moshe Feinstein's paper, you have it, Rabbi? You working on it? Very good. So I want to go over what he says, go over the points, what's his proof, what's his back and forth, and what is conclusion. And Be'ezrat Hashem today, I want to prove, in my opinion, what's a true pshat in the Moshe. And if people don't agree with me, I'll be very disappointed. In the other yeshiva, I gave this shiur yesterday, because that's some I didn't. Yesterday I gave it, and then everybody agrees with me that's the best shot. So I'm already Meshach, giving you all those words and giving you Shochad. But in my opinion, that's real Pshat Nerosh. And Yimele, what?
Be happy when people argue with you, that's when they.
Vana, no, they did argue with you for an hour. In the end, they agreed. And they agreed. But I want to be, I want to be challenged. But I think my Pshat is the true Pshat. That's my Pshat. We'll see in a second. But in order to understand and to value my Pshat, you must understand clearly the steps of the Moshe Feinstein. Okay? And I'm going to go even back and forth. In a way, go exactly what he says, point by point. It'll take some time, at least an hour or so. Then I'll say my Pshat. But in the meantime, not to waste time, our chemistrists, those guys, they'll check. First, we'll check the machine if the machine is real. Okay? And once the machine real, we're going to check the wine. And then I'll say, and while we do it, we'll do the piece inside. We see what's up shop. According to my understanding, there's a big enough kamina lahalocha that there's no such Rosh. What Rabbi Moshe Feinstein said, the Chayot doesn't exist, in my opinion. You know, just as a there's halacha and halacha lemaisa. I'm saying according to my opinion lahalocha. I'm not saying lemaisa. Halacha, according to my opinion lahalocha, I think my pshat is 100% right. I mean, to me, it's very clear. Very clear. That's what it means. I have a lot of proofs to it. We'll prove it when we get to it. Siyata D'Shnai. It's only B'derech Halim. We'll have to argue and say our truth, but not the Maisa. Maisa is Moshe Feinstein.
Like they asked
Right, you need 150 hours, right? And the base medrash is, we'll see. Let's see. Okay.
80 hours.
80 hours, right? Okay. Shiur bishul yayin latir b'magah. I mean, siman lamed aleph. The measurements of cooking of wine to permit when the goy touches.
Touches the bottle or the bottle?
What?
That's the liquid or the bottle?
The liquid.
You touch the bottle, you can touch the
No, it's nothing. Touch the liquid. Okay. Vehine.
removes it. If the bottle's open and he moves it.
Okay. We have to learn this halacha. But here we're touching the wine. What about if I move the bottle and it's open, like I moved the bottle and didn't touch it? Is those like touching? Like to see.
29, 30,
3 lines on the bottom.
31, 32, 33.
What is it? It's water?
You have water now.
Okay, we have to get to 100. So keep talking to yourself.
Oh,
When we get to 100, we'll stop and then we know it works. Okay?
it works fine. 38 now. Now it's 31.
Vehine.
You said 1.
We need to put wine in
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready to do the test now. Is it ready? The machine works?
The shape looks fine.
Good.
Boil
So
the
now,
water and see that it goes to 100.
It's gonna go to 100.
No, that's you have to see, not
FTC. Wait, let's go.
All right.
We want to check it 100% thoroughly.
Okay.
Want to say the Besmedesh or that's Yeshiva knows we check this. Let's follow the rules.
Okay.
Follow the rules. There's no shortcuts. I'm not a chemist, but I know those are the rules.
Yeah, it'll take you a few seconds.
Well, in the meantime, we're learning. V'ine. In one hand to hold your piece of the piece of a Moshe Feinstein. Give the piece. One hand you can hold the piece. The other hand you hold the thermometer. Okay. V'ine. I'm reading now here the Moshe Feinstein 3 lines on the bottom.
Yes.
V'ine me'etzem adin. That's where he starts. From the essence of the law, כשנזבשל בחויים שיצא לזבוי. When you cook something, when the hand jumps back, יצא לזבוי. ובדין בישול. He says, יצא לזבוי everywhere, everybody knows it's bishul. And not only that,
That's a lesson. He said this and that.
מעצם הדין. What is עצם הדין?
That's not it continues.
כשנזבשל כחוי לזבוי, ובדין בישול. From the essence of the law, when you cook for the heat, al yatzoleh lezbo, as the law of bishul.
As the law of bishul.
It has. It has. Yeshlo. Ubedin bishul. Okay. The can. So, on Matzino we found, av kshula hokel b'Shabbos, even when I use the concept Yatzoles to be lenient, is considered bishul. I would say maybe it's on your chumrah. Really, bishul, for sure bishul needs retich, needs boiling. But Yatzoles for bishul is only lechumrah. No. I'll show you also the kula. Where's the kula? Doisa Mogen Avrom Shinu Tchesiv Kodem Yud Beis. Says in the Mogen Avrom, turn the page. She'av sheyesh bishul achar bishul. The machloikes mechaber ramo. Machloikes rishonim. Do we have bishul after bishul? So even if you hold like the mechaber, that there is bishul after bishul, Ashkenazim hold there's no bishul after bishul. Only if it's benefit, it's tamek v'yofel. But the Sfaradim hold, yes, bishul achar bishul. There is cooking after cooking, even though it doesn't become its tamek v'yofel. Just the heat, the fact he brought it to that heat, yes, bishul achar bishul. What?
Solid.
By salad, yovish. Kol zman, the Mogen Avrom says, as long, shayat soledes, as long that the hand jumps back, mikre roitach is called still boiling. Ve'ein mo bishul bishul, there's no bishul. Which means, mashit vasef, what you add, chom, what you're going to add heat, afle retich, even for boiling, even if you add heat from yat soledes to boiling, it's not bishul. So what do we see from here? We see that there's no bishul yat soledes even lekula, not only lekula. Which means, if I would go from yat soledes to reticha, when something was roiteach, went down all the way to yat soledes, and I brought it back to reticha, is not considered bishul. The Mogen Avrom says. Why? What do we see from this? That yat soledes is called through boiling, not only the chumo, even the kula. There's no bishul. Ve'im ken if so.
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, it means what it means. Ve'im ken if so. Gam lema she'omu. Also what is being said. Mevushal ein mishum yayin nesech. When it says when you have cooked wine, there's no yayin nesech anymore. And the Rosh says, and the Rav says like Shabbos. Nami vada. Also for sure, b'mido zudi yatzoledes. Also we have to say in this measurement of yatzoledes, which is also the kula, not only the chumrah, which is the absolute law. The yatzoledes is bishul, and from there on there's no more cooking anymore. And bishul achar bishul. Even one who holds yes bishul achar bishul. But once the yatzoledes is already cooked, there's nothing more to talk more. Cook more. So like boiling and taking from yatzoledes to boiling to roteach doesn't make a change. So therefore must be for sure that the measurement of cooking by yayin nesech, which is like Shabbos, is the nida measurement of yatzoledes. But he has a problem. And this is the beginning move of Moshe Feinstein.
C is called Shem Bishul.
Yes. Aval Rosh Avodah Zarah Flamen, our Rosh, that we're learning in Iyun now, Kosavi wrote. Yayin Mevushal achar she'yitiach. Cooked wine after you boiled it. Nikro Mevushal is called cooked. You hear Reb Shleimer? Nikro Mevushal is called cooked. The Beperek Kiro in Shabbos, page 40, says, Nechleku is being argued. Iomar efsheros o bishuloi. Do we say defrosting is cooking or you need more? Aval kshirticho, when you have more, when you boil it, arei mevushal kula alma. So it's cooked according to everyone. So he says we have a problem. Lichoy apparently, lo imuva kavanosoi. It's not understood his intention. The Efshel Sheplige, defrosting, there's an argument, is less. Ukshe'en ha'atzoledes, when it's not the atzoledes. The command of others an opinion, b'shem and by oil, the Efshel Sheplige, that by oil, defrosting is cooking it. V'nif sakana aloche is, there ain't no b'shulo, it's not cooking.
I thought you meant just making temper. Cold water that you just let get not cold.
No, not only water. B'shem and too. Zo b'shuloi. The nifsak the halacha is there. The eno bishul is not cooking by defrosting. Gam b'shem and also by oil. Aval yatzoledes boy, but if the oil is yatzoledes, hovadai, that surely is like water. Ubishul, it's cooking. Stop. So the Rabbi Moshe Feinstein starts. You got to 100.
No, it doesn't get, it won't boil that, this isn't a hot enough burner to get it to 100, it gets to about 95, 94, 95.
Let's wait a minute.
It won't, doesn't move, I left it for
Does
a
it,
long time.
what?
I left it for a long time, it's boiling and it doesn't go higher. I don't think, I'm pretty sure it's not.
The machine is not good. The machine is not good.
Because it's still like fire. When it was fire.
Okay. So now we'll wait. So but let's focus here. What's the kasha? What's the beginning move of Rabbi Moshe Feinstein? Okay. The beginning move of Rabbi Moshe Feinstein is, guys, listen carefully. The beginning move of Rabbi Moshe Feinstein is the Rosh said, sorry. In Shabbos we know that Yad Soledes is considered cooking even lekula. And even if I do more than that, I'm not mechayev. So therefore, the cooking should be Yad Soledes. That's called cooking vana. Yet the Rosh says that by Yayin Nesek, to remove Yayin Nesek is boiling. Like by Shabbos, there's an argument of defrosting. But by boiling, there's no argument. He says, what do you mean? Why did the Rosh jump from defrosting to boiling? That vadai is no bishul. Defrosting is less than yatzoledes. It's not defrosting and then boiling. So if it's not defrosting, there's an argument. So then you must see, when everybody agrees it's boiling, no. Defrosting is less than yatzoledes. You have defrosting, you have yatzoledes, and you have boiling. So why do the Rosh says defrosting is an argument? Boiling is vadai bishul. You should say defrosting is an argument by oil is considered cooking or not. Vadai, yeah, you see the steam coming out. What level is this?
95, Yeshiva.
Okay, close it. Boiling is 95. Good. To close it.
He said based from the pressure that we are high.
Okay, doesn't matter. Stop. By water is 95. Close it. Close it. Close. We wait. You can pour this. It's sick there. You can pour it out, and we're going to do the wine in a minute. After I want to get the points, we'll do the experiment. You know it works. Now, good. Shh, guys. Now, 1 second. So let's see what he says. First, let's see the kasha. So we have defrosting is an argument. We have soledes, where everybody agrees is bishul, and we have geticha. So he says the Rosh is very weird. The Rosh says boiling is cooking for yayin nesek. Like we see by Shabbos, there's an argument by defrosting if it's bishul or not. But boiling vada is bishul. Why we have to jump up to boiling? You should have said defrosting is an argument. Yad soledes, everybody agrees. Because by defrosting is an argument if oil is considered cooking by defrosting. And the halachah is now that you have to have yad soledes. By yad soledes, not only water is cooking, even oil is cooking. So therefore, all species that the Gemara speaks about, there is cooked by yad soledes. So why the Rosh says, by reticha, by boiling, vada is cooking. Right? If you brought a guy from Shabbos, that by defrosting is an argument. And where's the safe zone? That vada is cooking is what? Why has to jump to reticha, to boiling? You should have said, yad soledes. This is the kasha. So in the end of this process, the Moshe Feinstein wants to get to the opinion that really boiling means yad soledes. But he's going to go through and try to maybe fit it and knock it out. Yes, what do you want, Reb Chaim?
Why not go to boiling? Boiling is vada. Yad soledes is not vada.
What?
Yad soledes is not vada.
Why is not vada?
Because he's talking about yayin nesek about boiling. Now he's comparing. So yeah, by Avodah Zarah, the boiling is the point. So he wants to learn about Avodah Zarah. He has to learn from something that's comparable to the nature of Avodah Zarah, not the nature of cooking Shabbos.
What are you asking?
I'm asking what you want.
You looks like
Why
one
you have to
second.
say you have to do the Yatzalet?
You got the question. That's the question.
Why you said the question?
This is the question I asked.
That he has that question?
Yes. Why I'm saying that? Because not really what he's asking. I'm saying is, I want to grab your mind to understand what I'm saying. The Rosh made a dimion.
Right.
We accept that as an axioma.
The Dimion we accept.
The dimion we accept because we don't want to fight the Rosh. We want to search what the Rosh meant.
Right.
This is the goal of this piece. Because since the Rosh is la halachah, the Rosh and the two is brought down in Shulchan Aruch and Ashar. That's la halachah. So since that's la halachah, we want to know what he means.
Right.
This is the whole piece.
Okay.
So the Rosh made a dimion, like by Shabbos. So he says, I don't understand the dimion. The dimion should be not that Shabbos is not doing it. He's saying what he said. I agree that Shabbos and somehow he agrees as doing it. Okay, I follow. I flow with it. But he's asking, even by Shabbos, the safe zone is defrosting is not a safe zone. It's a machlokas. Where's the safe zone? You don't have to jump on to boiling like the Rosh did. The safe zone, even by Shabbos, is Yatzoledes. So why the Rosh jump to Reticha? That's all he's asking.
Okay.
So maybe he answers, maybe he can answer that. He goes back and forth to show all the options. Therefore, he forces you to a corner that you have to retransfer the word boiling means Yatzoledes. This is the method. Yes. 1 second, yes, first, Rabbi.
The Gemara in Shabbos, it has the rice of Tanur.
Yes,
And we've done 3 views.
correct.
In those 3 views, it has the words Efshar, right?
Efshar, yes.
It has Roter and Bishul.
As use the word Roter. Bishul, yes. I never heard the word Roter. You're adding words.
It says,
Bishul. Bishul Yatzoledes.
Rabbi Guru Omer, Nikol Me'amadira Loda, Bishvil Shivashel, Ela Bishvil Shivashel, that's the second one. And Yeshiva Gam Omer, Isha Shemen, Merchamanta, Kanegel Madura, Basato, Kanat Kana, Ve'eno Boshesh. Okay, doesn't have Rotek, you're right.
That's the problem he has. We only deal with defrosting and cooking of Yatzoledes. Why do you have to jump on a new category? Doesn't mention the Gemara. The safe zone is already Yatzoledes. Nobody has more.
No, but it says Bishul, right?
Bishul is Yatzoledes, the Gemara calls it.
Well, Bishul is, for sure, Bishul is Roter.
Who says that?
No, if you have Roter, you have Bishul.
You have Efsher, you have Bishul Yatzoledes, and we have Roteach. Three levels.
But
What
if
does
you
Yatzoledes mean?
You have
Roter.
Vadai Bishul.
Vadai. And if you have Roteach, it's Vadai Bishul. We're not talking about it. We know it's the safe zone. Where's Vadai Bishul?
Where does it say Bishul in the Gemara and the Yatzalet?
The word says the word Bishul. Yisrael. Now, I want to go over the Gemara there by heart. People, I hope they learned it inside. Did you learn what everybody went inside? Okay. So I'm going to go over by yes. I'm going to listen to you in a second. I just want to say where I'm heading. I'm going to go over the Gemara, very important, because the back and forth, you must know the Gemara in Shabbos well. And we're going to go back and forth inside what Moshe Feinstein said. So I'm going to go over what he says by heart, then look at inside what he says, all the options, and his conclusion. And after we're going to do that, I'm going to say my option. Okay? Now, before I'm starting, I want to hear what you want to say. Yes?
אולי כוונתו של הראש רבי שהפותח הולך על כל, מתחיל ויד צולדת בו לא הולך על כל, אולי כוונתו זה?
שיד צולדת בו?
ויד צולדת לא הולך על כל בפנים היין, אולי שרותח על בשביל אלכוהול.
אני מסכים, אבל מה ראיה משבת? מה האלכוהול שייך לשבת? אם מחייבים בשבת, שבת זה יד צולדת, זה השאלה. אוקיי. So I'm going to say over the Gemara and Shabbos, make it easy, put the 3 points, and we'll see what he says. The Gemara in Shabbos says like this. Water, Tanakama says water, you're allowed to defrost, you're not allowed to cook yatzoledes. If I put water against the fire to defrost it, it's okay. But if I put it against the fire to cook it, to make it yatzoledes ball, I'm not allowed. This Tanakama.
It didn't say yes. It didn't say yes. Well, that step, it didn't say yes.
It says bishul. Very good, but the Gemara says later bishul is yatzoledes.
I mean, you're plugging this into that.
Yes, I'm plugged. That's why I said by heart. I'm not here to teach you the Gemara and put all that into your mind. You should have done it the whole week. So I'm just giving you the points to make understand the logic of Moshe Feinstein that I expect from people who did learn the Gemara during the week. So the Rakama says, if I take water and I defrost it against the fire, it's okay. But if I cook it, and the Gemara later on explains, yatzoledes bo, I'm not allowed. Rabbi Yehuda says, a woman is allowed to take a bucket of oil, pach shel shemen, like in Hanukkah, pach shel shemen, to defrost it, but not to cook it. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, even that is not allowed. Only beshinui. She can put the oil on her body, or on her baby's body, her baby's son's body, and puts it next to a fire to defrost the cold, but obviously not to cook it because it should be cooked also. Okay. But only in a way of shinui. Again, Tanakama says water is allowed to defrost, not to cook, not yatzoledes. Rabbi Yehuda says oil you're allowed to defrost, but not to cook in a normal way. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says only in beshinui, on the body you're allowed to defrost, but not to cook oil. The question is what Tanakama holds about oil. He didn't express his opinion about oil. He only talked about water. So there's 2 opinions. Rav and Rav Yosef holds le'teva. And Tanakama holds only water defrost is allowed. Cooking yatzoledes is not allowed. But oil, even yatzoledes is allowed. Why? Because he holds shemen ain't no bishul. Oil, there's no bishul in oil. And therefore yatzoledes is mutar, is allowed. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says no, defrosting is allowed by oil, but yatzoledes is also. But Tanakama held that even yatzoledes is permitted by oil because ain't bishul by oil. Even yatzoledes is permitted. Rabbi Shimon says no, defrosting it's okay, but cooking, which is yatzoledes, by shemen there is a issue. And Rabbi Shimon says you're right, you're allowed to defrost, but not to cook. But even defrost, you're only allowed beshinui on a person's body. This is Rav and Rav Yosef. Rav Nachman holds Tanakama holds lechumra. He holds water is permitted to defrost but not to cook. But oil, even defrosting is not allowed. Okay. Those are the 2 options. The question is, when Rav and Rav Yosef learned the Tanakama, the Tanakama says leheter, only water defrost is allowed and cook is not allowed. But oil, even cooking is allowed because yatzoledes is allowed. But what about if I boil oil? Will be bishul? Or means shemen is a type of species that there's no cooking at all on it. Even retiche, even boiling, whatever it is.
Or
nothing.
Or even less. It can go quicker.
No, but he's saying le'eteva. Means he's saying oil is heter. And he says yatzoledes is permitted. Shemen ain't more bishul, and therefore yatzoledes is permitted. Now what does it mean, therefore yatzoledes is permitted? Only yatzoledes is permitted? Or about reticha? When he says ain't more bishul means not all bishul, or it means that's the chakira he has. No bishul at all, or no bishul by yatzoledes, but by reticha there is. He says maybe, comes the Moshe Feinstein, he says maybe the Rosh held that oil, there's no bishul only in yatzoledes. But in reticha there is bishul. That's all. The Rosh makes sense. He says the lowers is defrosting, is a machlokes. Where is a safe zone in all species? As I Yatzoledes is water. It's Vadai Bishul. But by oil, you need more. Because Tanakama holds Leteira that the Yatzoledes is permitted by oil. But Riticha, there's Bishul. So the saves on all species we found in Shabbos is boiling. So the word boiling by the Rosh and Yain means literally boiling. And when he found in Shabbos, so the Moshe Feinstein is not true. Water by Shabbos is Yatzoledes. That's a safe zone. Everybody agrees. It says, you're right, that's by water. But we found one opinion by Tanakama that says, Shemen Emo Bishul, and Yatzoledes is permitted, but maybe Retich is also. So therefore, the only safe zone, even by all species, even oil, is by boiling. And wine is another species. So it has to be in a safe zone, because you don't know where it belongs to. So Vale Retich, that's the Kabbalah Sagoinim, you have to boil it, and only boiling is considered cooking for Yainus. Let's read inside. Vehulai, I'm reading inside Vehulai. Vehulai and maybe. Vehulai, I'm reading inside the Moshe Feinstein. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines on the top. Vehulai kavonosol atanekam. Maybe the Rosh meant that boiling is a safe zone, means Tanakam opinion. Ali ben Rav and Rav Yosef, that Shem and oil, and bishul. What does it mean there's no bishul in it? After bishat soledes boy, even though it's boiling, if you have soledes boy, there's no bishul. The Rosh holds, what does it mean oil, there's no bishul, yat soledes? Only that, but more than that, it will be bishul. The Rosh, when you boil it, even by oil, Yayin Mevushal kula almez, and Mevushal kon to everyone, all species. Ainu gam tanakama, even kon tanakama. So it means boiling is a safe zone on all species, even kon to tanakama, kon tanakama. Maybe that's what the Rosh means. Umistapik. And what was the Rosh doubt? The came bunch of Chazilim, since we saw Sheika Shemen, since we find by oil, the Soive Chamadoma, one opinion holds, the Biyatzoledes boy, when it's Yatzoledes, ain't no bishul, no bishul. Since we found such a doubt, such an opinion. Wine is another species, maybe wine is like oil. And no bishul, maybe that's Yatzoledes boy. It could be even more. So now I understand the Rosh. Where the Rosh got boiling as a safe zone, because we found by Shem and one opinion upon Tanakama that ain't no bishul beyatzoledes, but reticham, there will be bishul. So that's why wine maybe is like more oil. Ve'efshel yoyser is possible more. She'af she'b'Shem and ifsak demidas bishul beyatzoledes. Even though la halacha, that option of Rabbi Yosef is removed from halacha, and we hold oil is like water, they need yatzoledes. We don't care about Tanakama, so why the Rosh holds when the opinion was ala halacha? However, ula yayin, but wine is another species, so you always have to worry. Ula yayin gam Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, even Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel that says la halacha. Anybody should be bishul. There's no different water and oil. There's no bishul. Beyatzoledes by wine. Maybe you will agree, Mishu, it's another species. Since we see not all the species are equal, so as long we saw there's one opinion that by oil, which is another species, there's no bishul by yatzoledes, but maybe by reticha there is. So we don't know where wine belongs to. So as long as possible, so to be in a safe zone, we say, you know what, for sure is bishul is reticha boiling, and boiling is a vadai bishul for yain to remove yain. Maybe that's what the Rosh meant. It is not true. Avaloi mistaber lefareze. Doesn't it make sense to me, he says, to explain this, betan Tanakama, and the reason of Tanakama. And not only that, I checked it out in the laws of Isul Mizbeach, and it seems to be he's right. Just be careful, there's a string here, you have to, exactly. Good. Thank you, Tamir. Thank you very much. He says no, it doesn't make sense. Why? The pashtus halosh. What is the word, Rabbi Chaim? Pashtus halosh. What does pashtus means? the simplicity of the language who Tanekama Shemen Ein Mo Bishul Klal. Oil, there's no cooking at all. The Lomar Shemen Mo Bishul Bishul Atzoledes. It doesn't say oil, there's no Bishul Bayat Zoledes. There's no Bishul. Elohim Mo Bishul Bishul. The Pirusho, right, we jumped to me when I got it, right? The Pirusho, who, maybe oil is no Bishul, even boiling it more. And by the way, you should know, I checked by Ilchos Mizbeach, it says, if I take the olives and I overcook them, shaluk, then I cannot bring it to Mizbeach. But oil that was cooked, or normal or cold pressed, all of them can be brought to Mizbeach. But wine, Yayin Mevushal, I can't. So the Choyer is right. There's no bishul by oil at all, at least that opinion, in that sense, la halacha refers to Mizbeach. So it's a siyata thing. Yes.
Are you saying that there's no bishul because the definition of bishul
Well, he's going to explain that in a second.
is yad soledabo?
Yes. No. I'm talking about species of oil.
No, I know, but I'm saying that if we have a
Bishul is soledes. But oil is no bishul. Why? Why? Let me. What? Because what? No, not soledes. Because different reason. Because you have to gain something. That's what he says. So the bishul eno rak achim levad. Bishul here is only the heat. Ela toel, it's not only heating, it's just the benefit. Shenahasamis is being done by cooking. Ba'adover in an object. Ubemaskim lochim liquids, which are liquids, drinks which are liquids. Shoinikar b'mishmush hayad. You cannot recognize by touching it. Chiluk ben koydem achila, the difference between before boiling or after boiling. The bedavar yov is something which is dry. Nikar is recognized. Shenasa midovorach kosher mikosherach. By dry, you can see something which is hard became soft, or soft became hard, like the Rambam says.
hard-boiled egg.
Kolonosh, the Rambam says, the rule of all this. Ben sheripa guf kosher, you weaken, you soften a hard body, be'esh by fire. Or sheik shegufra, you harden a soft body. Arei zechaim shu bishul, as mevashel. But belach by liquids, she'eino nika is not recognized. So later you need to know the toil is the benefit of it.
But it's touching.
After you boil it, you have to see a benefit. So here we have an argument. Tanekama holds over Tanekama. The Beshem eleke shum toil is b'achimum. By oil, there's no benefit by boiling it. There's no bishul at all, even boiling. Not like the first shot, like the way we wanted it to Rosh. That even oil only atzoledes, but boiling is a safe zone that is not a bishul even by oil. No, maybe oil there's no bishul at all, even reticha, because there's no benefit in it.
So you're saying that oil at yad soledabo has no visual benefit?
Not only that, go more. Oil reticha. Oil when you boil it, there's no benefit.
That's getting higher than boiling.
Not enough benefit to do bishul. There's benefits.
Higher than boiling.
Yes. No. Not higher than boiling. No. There's no. The only way to do it if you take the olives and you put it on fire a lot and it becomes shaluk, very soft. Then the oil will come out and it'll be different.
When I put the mushrooms in the machbah, the
Yes.
mushrooms and the oil,
Yes.
shemen zayit,
Yes.
at the beginning it's cold and it's hard, and then I wait a few minutes,
Yes.
and it became like water, and then I put the mushrooms. So there is a difference between the texture.
Yeah, people told me that. There's an argument about Chokim Savri. Those are all against Tanakame or against Rabba. Savri, they hold the Gambeshem and the even by all there's a benefit bechimu when you heat it. Umimele is Bashem Shum Bishul, that's why Shem does not Bishul. So there's an argument, but he said I can see that oil, when the word says oil, there's no Bishul, this simply means no Bishul at all. And there's no heating.
But how is it when you cook wine there's a benefit? It's a disaster.
No, by there is. The Geruse. I'll tell you why. They say that Rabbi Yosef Engel says that if you want to have a very long shelf life, you have to boil it. Or sweeten it, you have to boil it. That's why I bought here this wine. This wine is a cheating. It's cheese. You read what it says. This wine is very expensive. I don't know how much it costs. It's very expensive. It says, loy mevushal, not cooked. So my nephew, my son-in-law, said, here, I bring you a good wine, non-mevushal. Right? I start looking the small letters. Small letters like this. Ooh, it tells you how they process it. They frozen it for 3 days, and afterwards they pressed it. And when they pressed it and the juice went out, chumam be'esh tiv'it me'atzeh zayit. They heated it with a natural wood of olive wood. They heated it up naturally. And 1 second, then they put then afterwards they put the wine in barrels 1 year under the sunlights. That's called not cooked.
But maybe they didn't get it to Yad Shalom.
I don't know. I don't know what it means, but this is what it says. I thought, I have wine to bring. This one, it says loy mevushal. I don't even know what it doesn't say. Some of them says loy mevushal mefustan. Some say mevushal mefustan. You're going to see all the opinions soon.
And what does this say?
This one says loy mevushal. Doesn't say baptista. While the other one said loy mevushal but mefustan. Will say mefustan mevushal, which really is an argument. Halachah. What is it? We're going to see soon in the end. Hashem will give us a time. So let's go. Let's continue on. We're soon going to do the test. Give me another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we'll get there.
It's very hard to find a mevushal here, by the way.
Yes, but this one is mevushal. That's what it says, not mevushal. I don't know what it means. If it means not pasteurized, normally would say it for pasteurized. It doesn't say it means it's totally not touched. Okay? So we have wine here, not big amounts, to make the test. So what do we got here? So basically, I don't have, this year I lost the merit to get from Rabbi Seinstein. Because I went back and forth till I got it. He says, you know what, you lost the rights, you're not going to get it anymore. So I lost the opportunity to buy for him. Okay. Next year.
But they say that today, they do a lo mevush, Yayin Mevushal, they do the best to make it tasty, to make it good. And all the reason in
we'll
the
see,
years,
we'll get to it. I don't get into this. Okay. Well, what do we got in the structure? This is very important, guys. What do we got? We have a hakira. When the Gemara says, Rabbi Begel, when the Gemara says, Shem and Emu Bishul Bishul, Bayatzoleres, Baytanakam, Rabbi, what does that mean? It means no Bishul, Bayatzoleres, Bayaticha, there is Bishul, so then the Rosh is great. We found one species by Bishul Shabbos, where is Vadai Bishul, Bayaticha. Bayatzoleres is not enough. But if you hold Shemin is out of the box, Shemin is no Bishul at all, so when there is bishul, the only thing we have is defrosting or yatzoleves. But the retik is not part of the box. So where the Rosh got it. That's really what he's saying. So he's saying, "V'soy Rav Shim Gamliel v'chet tanekama. Ali v'deralach v'Yitzchak. The av be'efshel levad, even by defrosting alone, mitbashel eto has some benefit. The Rabbi lo soy v'davka v'yatzoleves or bishul. Only yatzoleves is cooking. Beshemen kemoy b'mayim, like water. V'chen posach Rabbi Omar Shmuel. V'im ken, if so, this is the bottom line. If so, lo nitza sham klal min. We never found a species, and all Maseches Shabbos, and all the laws of Shabbos. We didn't learn a species sheis boy bishul that has bishul in it, because oil is out. Any species which has bishul, umikomokum udavka b'yosef, but you need to be more yatzoleles shuberoit chim davka, only boiling. We never found it. So it must be that the Rosh also never found it. In came beyayin, therefore by oil, by wine. Shematzinu bo bishul, wine is a species which has bishul. It needs to get to the category of yatzoledes. Men not only stop it from where it was to have a doubt. Shema ashiru b'yosef mi yatzoledes. Maybe it's more yatzoledes cheticha boiling. Shematzinu Hashem, we never found such a thing. So he's saying the Rosh looks to be that he said Shemen and boy bishul means what? And boy bishul of yatzoledes, but the tikkun there is. So that's so we, as long as we found one species that boiling is cooking, only boiling is cooking by Shemen. So therefore wine we don't know it's another species where it belongs to, and the same zone we put on boiling. That's the way to solve the Rosh. There's no since the simple language is Shemen and boy bishul means no bishul at all. Even more yatzoledes bo, even reticha, there's no bishul at all. Like, and I verified it also. I'm bringing a raya to him because by Ilches Mizbeach it says you cannot bring to the altar cooked wine, but cooked oil, you could. That's the same thing about it.
Which means we're lacking a word because it's not cooked oil.
Not cooked oil, it's not considered, and it's a machlokes here, but you understand, reference to Mizbeach, we assume it's not. It makes sense that it's such an opinion that there's no cook at all, there's no cooking at all by oil. However, he says, achulai. Maybe he says another third option, which he holds very narrow. Right away, everybody's going to jump and say, oh, narrow. But he wants to spell it all out, and then we're going to come to the proofs, 2 proofs. He brings 2 proofs to what he says. This is what he says. Achulai, however, Yeshlit, there is too narrow. The Kevan Shematzinu Shesh Machlokes doesn't mean, since we found some kind of argument in some species, Keod Hashem like oil, that what? That even defrosting is cooking. Gam Yeshlochus, right away there is, this is what he said. What's your name there in the corner next to Gabriel? What's your name? But this option he mentioned. So he says, since we found there is a machlokes in any species, like oil, that even defrosting will be bishul, yesh gam lochus, there is to worry, sheulai maybe, since wine is the 3rd species, yesh mean there is a species, shegam etzoledes by the bishul. Once we found that species changed the order, water is yatzoledes, but oil is less, so maybe wine is more. Right, you have to examine each one. He says, it's a very big, narrow way. Then he stopped it, but we have a doubt on something. Never found nowhere in halacha such a thing. Okay. Therefore, the conclusion of Moshe Feinstein halacha. You hear Rabbi Yosef Goldstein? Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef. What's the final halakha? She wants to conclude. This is what he says. He says, Velochen ulai. This is 2, 4, 5 lines on the bottom. I want everybody to see this. Very important. Lochen ulai yesh lefarish. You see the language he uses, Rabbi Feinstein?
Ulai.
Therefore, ulai, maybe there is to explain. It's a maybe and a possibility to explain, but he holds the halakha. Loshon shirtia, the language, the lingua. The language shirtia, that he boiled it on the fire or boiled it, shebarosh, shubishir yatzoledes. The measurement of boiling means 45 degrees yatzoledes. Shezekoiloteach. It's called boiling. What we found, we know boiling is not yatzoledes. Yatzoledes. I found 2 cases. 2 cases. You hear a bell? You hear Rabbi Yeponah, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yisachar, rabbis?
45 degrees is yatzoledes? Who said
Yes. That's only between 42 and 45. Is yatzoledes? He says, although normally it's not, boiling is 100 or 79, 90, whatever it is. Much more, he says, we found in certain places that the word boiling means also yatzoledes. So maybe the Geoinim and the Rosh says boiling means yatzoledes.
That's a huge difference.
Which difference?
Double.
Now where we found, double is more than double, almost double. Has a possible. And he holds this la halakha, is the Moshe Feinstein. And the OU, you heard about the OU? You heard about the OU? The OU follows la halakha. Okay? And today, B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of Hashem, I want to prove another option, because everybody that argues with him, they bring other opinions. But they don't challenge him, pshat and Rosh. And today, B'ezrat Hashem, Diaspora Yeshiva, Tavshin Pei Dalet, Parshas Pinchos, I want to present another option in the Rosh, which I think is the truth. And he made all the poskim are right. Listen carefully.
And you just said ulai is so weak.
Right. But the problem is, it's true. But he follows the halakha.
So, what's his right to follow ulai?
Because he says there's no other option. If he scales and says the other option, physically reticha, I have a problem. Doesn't make sense. To twist the word that means allegorically that we found such places to prove they're found, it makes more sense, and he's going to prove with more proofs. It's 1, 2, and then some other proofs we'll see. Maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 proofs, and then he holds out the truth. Listen carefully.
So that's because he's stuck, not because.
Yes.
And that's.
But Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, as far as Poisky, is one of the biggest Poisky. Okay? It's not a Katla Kanya. Not only that, Rabbi Vosner agrees there. He's not the only one. It's not a Yochi.
The Rebbe went against him.
Okay? But you already have two people, two big rabbis, two big canon. Not so simple to fight. You have to check yourself 20 times. So I'm not fighting, I'm only fighting in the Besmedrash, not in Aloch Lamaise. But the Besmedrash wise, in the 20 hours of spending in the Zoom, 30 hours, not 80, 150, I want to fight some other option. So listen carefully, Israelis, and then I'll make my option, okay? Listen, because we don't have time. One thing. He says he found Bes Yosef and Mogen Avram and Rabbeinu Yerucham that called the word Yatzoledes, he calls it what? Hoiteach. What's the case? Iviu Belshon Shekosa. Umashmali dekol Shayatzoledes V'Mikra Hoiteach. The Bes Yosef says, and Mogen Avram quotes him, that when you have a boiled food, that it went dry, it went down from boiling to Yatzoledes, it says it's still called boiling and there's no cooking after cooking. Even those who hold that we hold there is cooking after cooking, but when it started as boiled and went down to Yatzoledes, but not less, but still Yatzoledes, it's still in the boundaries of boiling. So we see Shaloch and Mashma, we see from this, Shemaski Mamogan Avram agrees, Gam Eloshon Roteach, that the language boiling means also Yatzoledes, Umashma Me'amogan Avram Begam Rabbeinu Yerucham. Shekosa, the Ruler says, Im lo nitztanen afilu shino k'tzas militichosai. If it didn't change dramatically, was boiling, and a little bit from the boiling went down, but it's not less Yatzoledes, it's still allowed. Even according to Ashkenazi. What do we see? So again, we see the Koiros, he calls it Rakshino K'tzas Milo. He only changed a little bit from his boiling. Shemashma, you can infer from this, Shegamata also now, when it changed from his boiling, even now there's not less, the Yatzoledes, B'Shem Roteach is called boiling.
They're talking about meat or food, solid or liquid, that's the total.
Solid.
So that's solid, okay.
Proof number one. Proof number two, Mogen Avram Taf Nun Aleph Sivkot and Zayin says, Al Mashko Shomor Besakinim. If we have knives, you need a magil knife, right, Rabbi Yosef? Knives that became treif. Now, how it became treif? From the heat of the food on the plate. It's not boiled, and it's barely Yatzoledes boiled. Shemagili Beklei Rishon. How do you do a gola? You put it on Klei Rishon. You put it on the first Kli. V'Klei Rishon, Nika, what does Klei Rishon means? When you boil the water on the fire, he took it off. I feel on the toilet now it's not on the fire. So then what is still boiling? Yatzoledes boil. As long as it's still boiling means Yatzoledes boil, you can do a gola. So what do we see from this?
It's still hot, Bishop.
That's still called boiling. Yatzoledes is still in the category of boiling. You can explain also the language of the Rosh boiling. It's the measurement of Yatzoledes. What do you want to say, Chaim?
It could be that B'Diavad. So if B'Diavad, you say B'Diavad.
That's what it means. That's long B'Diavad, that's what it means. So also here you can explain the language of boiling of the Rosh is Midah Yatzoledes.
Is that only when it first reaches boiling and
Yes.
comes down to Yatzoledes?
Yes.
What about the other way?
Very good. Very good, Rabbi Yosef. I see you remember well. What happens the other way?
Yeah.
The Choyro wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. So therefore, for me, those two eyes are weak.
That's very
Why is that very required? Because only when was boiling and it went down, but not less Yatzoledes, who call boiling. Why? If let's say I will go from 0 to Yatzoledes, and I take the knives and I put it in, nobody would say that would work the Magil Klei Rishon. Only when it started boiling and it went down and it didn't go down the Yatzoledes boy, I still have a shame of Yatzoledes boy for what? For Agola, which something you would really need. It's Sakinim. It's not really also Bishul Achar Bishul. Because Machloik is coconut. although we pass in there is bishul, but it's not bishul doraisa. So now when I have it was boiled and it went down, unless you have it still has the name of hot temati bishul achal bishul. Even one who holds it is bishul achal bishul is machmir. But it's such a chumrah when it still has the shame, it's not a chumrah. But doesn't mean that the atzolet is zeticha. There's no raya at all. Okay, yes, Rabbi.
I'll bring you a little raya.
Yes.
You're there. We have dargot.
Right.
We have kli mishon al ha'esh, kli mishon she'usar min ha'esh. They're kept in the same dargah.
Right.
Even though we took it off the fire. However, if you start from the bottom,
Right.
and you say go,
Well, they have to go to hotel.
become the whatever kli shani. But nobody says that if you have a pot that you start out cooking
From zero.
from zero.
Like you're gonna start right now with the wine. There's nobody to say atzolet is cooking. That's right. So therefore, he can't explain the Rosh when it says geticha when he's going out from zero to up, from bottom to up. That geticha means yatzoledes. There was no raya b'chal. Okay, but I want to say another option before I bring the other guys that he brings. He brings one more raya that is against the seichel and nira. I'll explain in a second. Hashem will give us the time. It's not Hashem. But I want to explain another option in the Rosh. My option, okay? Listen carefully. I found a meiri. That would be a big two openings. People have the papers of the Diaspora Yeshiva. You don't have here. You don't have tape. You don't have tape. Pass it on, Rabbi Yosef, please. Pass it on. People don't have the papers. Pass it on. Pass it on. Those that don't have. This is in the third page. In the third page of Diaspora Yeshiva papers, those are the papers I prepared. I went through all the Magen Mekoimis and I prepared it. So it's total Diaspora Yeshiva papers. Listen careful. On the third page on the bottom, on the third page, third omud in the bottom, it says like this in the meat. He says, Beisa Bechira Mi. You will have it in the bottom.
Yeah.
The third one, Beisa Bechira Mi. So it says like this in the last line bottom. Lo huskar b'gemora wasn't mentioned in Gemara me'emos Yayin Mevushal. It doesn't mention the Gemara from what point is considered cooking. Le'inyan zeh, reference to this of to remove Yayin Nesach Tam Yaina. Turn the page. V'kosmo ha'gerainim. Unbelievable. The Meiri added two more words that give us a whole new light, the Siyata Dishmaya, what the Rosh meant. Pirshu HaGoyim, the geniuses explain. Shemikei v'natzitz, she'erlo, that are brought up, reticho achas, one boiling, nikra mevushal is called cooking. Listen carefully. We being brainwashed, kind of, by Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, that the Rosh, because Rabbi Moshe Feinstein understood, we found by Shabbos cooking is even defrosting, so which means the Rosh wants to say, I don't need less defrosting, I need more, and what's the most more, the safe zone? Is the Atzolet, is when it comes to boiling. But if the finding of the Goinim is not that I don't need less, I don't need more. How more? We never find more than boiling. Let's see. Some people say, it needs to be go so much down that the volume is reduced by the cooking. You have to be, it's proper to be strict, she use it. Some people say, until it becomes sticky, we call it glacose. It becomes sticky, the whole thing becomes sticky. It goes down 2/3. Stop. Now go backward again what the Goyim are saying. I'm reading again the Goyim. Because the Goyim, Shemikei since, She'elo eticha achas, that became boiled once. One boiling. Nikra Mevushal is called cooking. The goal of the Goyim is not to find, not less. The goal of the Goyim is to find that maybe, I need to cook it to remove, the people are not going to marry the daughters to remove the alcohol. How do I remove the alcohol? One boiling?
No.
Or a long time?
Long time.
Got it. Got it. And he says you have to machmir, a third, isabe, thickness. You can see, can recognize that it went down in volume. The Goldstein says no, this is what the Rosh means. Now we explain Shabbos, we still have a long way to explain this. One second. First I want to know what he said. When the Goldstein says, I'm reading the Rosh language. The Rosh says, the Rosh language is as follows. The Rosh says like this. The Yayin Mevushal, cooked wine, afterwards boiling, Nikra Mevushal is called Mevushal. Or he says, about Shirtichoy, when I boiled it, Ave Mevushal. What is he trying to say?
When you boil what?
When you boil, it's called Mevushal. So the Rabbi Moshe Feinstein understood, and I understand what made it a mistake, in my opinion. One made him to think not like me, because I need to explain this and I will give an answer to it in a second. Because by Shabbos he says there's an option even defrosting. So he wants to remove not defrosting, right? He say maybe it's defrosting. He says a machlokes. Well, everybody agrees that it's bishul irtichoy. So it seems to be he's fighting not less. No, he's fighting not more. It's enough one boiling. Since it's boiled, I don't need more than that. Just the beginning of the process of reducing, evaporating of the oil. Oh, so what is he talking about defrosting? So this I want to say in the name of my brother Rabbi Shlomo. Rabbi Shlomo was medayik in the language of the Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef says like this: the Rosh holds when you boil the wine is mevushal. V'no samtam, he gave a reason. Gemara Shabbos. It's not a raya, it's a reasoning. It's a big difference. You read the Lashon of the Beis Yosef? Beis Yosef here, I'm reading the language of Beis Yosef. Ken kosa b'sham harosh, v'no samtam mishu perikino. He gave a reason. It's a big difference here. The big difference with bringing a raya or giving a reasoning. And I'll explain what's the difference. Here is the big rabbit than putting on my hat. Very, very important. This is Siyata D'Ishmaya. With the help of Hashem, Siyata D'Ishmaya. I think what it means like this. At what point do I consider it cooking? Until the alcohol is gone, or one boiling? The Goyim say one boiling at ticho achas. I don't need to be thick. I don't need to reduce 1/3. I don't need recognize my eye. Recognize three other options the meat brings. You can recognize the volume going down. A third, thickness.
Right, no alcohol left.
Yes. So they say no. I just need the beginning of the process of stop evaporating. Stop. I don't need to recognize in my eyes. This is what the Goyim are fighting. Go to the meeting. So now, what the Rosh is bringing from Shabbos, he says, who told you that I follow beginning of process? Maybe forget about the Toras problem. That's his next question. But who says I should follow the beginning? Who says the rabbis follow the beginning? Maybe the end of the process is no. Like by Shabbos. By Shabbos, even there is an opinion of defrosting. Nobody would say defrosting is cooking. It's the beginning of the process. Ad Kedei Kach, the Rishonim in Shabbos is, how is it possible to say that defrosting is cooking? So do you know what some Rishonim learned, the Rosh and others? They learned defrosting is Gzeras Meches. It's not really cooking. The word cooking, bishul, is lavdavka. It means Gzeras Mechatzoes. A gzeira of washing, not to wash with hot water. That's the word bishul.
Now you're still.
So that's what the Rosh is bringing a proof. The Rosh is saying, I'll bring you a proof that by no some time he gave a reason. Not a proof. He gave a reasoning. You know why I'm going to follow, I have rights to follow. The beginning of the process, like by Shabbat, there's an all machlokes that maybe even the frosting is cooking. So therefore here, by Yayin, Bishul lekula alma, which is the beginning of the process of evaporating, lekula alma will be bishul. La 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 la. So according to this, if I'm right, what do we gain here? We gain a very big thing.
You don't even need to bring it to boiling point.
No, you do need a boiling, but you don't need evaporation. You don't need the full evaporation. But there's no such Rosh that Yatzoledes boys are cooking. It's not a raya from Shabbos. It's an Esina Stam why at the beginning of the process. Some of these Shoinim say maybe you should follow, if you go in the beginning of the process, maybe even defrosting.
Right. Go for
Says,
the
the Machoigas, go for the full. Says, no, the Machoigas there. Where Vadai I can follow the beginning of process, because even cooking by Shabbos, when I cook by Shabbos, I need to cook a measurement, revis. Kazayis, revis. When I take something and I put it 1 second, I go up and up to Yatzoledes boy, which is cooking, right? Not water. Food, dry.
Solid, not liquid.
It's solid. Right away it's cooked. It takes time. You have to put it to a couple, even the same heat, couple of minutes, couple of seconds. So where's the measurement, the shiur of cooking? So it's not. So why are you saying Yatzoledes? It should be Yatzoledes for 10 minutes to produce Machabed. So you see that we follow the beginning of the process. That's the point. The Goyim are fighting. What's the Goyim's problem? The Goyim's problem will say you follow the beginning of the operation. Maybe you need the end. Maybe you need the end. Like you see how the opinion says. You need the end. You have to recognize the volume going down. A third to become thick. Says no, Reticha has one. And I'll prove you like by Shabbos. Even his opinion, even Efshe, even defrosting. It's the so beginning. So therefore, Reticha by Yayin Nesek, although it's a beginning, I don't need a long time Reticha. Reticha achas the Kulam is Bishu. This is the way I'm reading it. Therefore, if I'm right, there's no such Rosh LaHalakha. Rosh LaHalakha, the two is LaHalakha. There's no such Rishonim at all that say that less than Reticha, Yatzoledes, and even Moshe Feinstein goes even less, even if we didn't see yet the last part, even less Yatzoledes, boy, even that's considered miut memida. Now that I know the reality. We have to now check, that's what we're coming to the point now, that Moshe Feinstein says two things. Number one, he says, Efshel maybe, or looks like, that the Pshat in the Rosh, Reticha means Yatzoledes, and the Yerushalmi says, reducing the volume, could be reducing the volume is less than 45 degrees. Or he has a suffix, Pshat and the Shach. Because the Shach says, Reticha on each transit, Reticha means Yatzoledes 45 degrees, and the Shach transit to reducing the volume, he says could be the same measurement, but as another simon, or maybe if it's less. You saw that? Or maybe if it's less. Now we have to find the reality. If the reality is that it doesn't start to evaporate at all, only 80 or 90 degrees, and 38, 35, less than 42, 45, doesn't even start, so it doesn't make sense what he's saying, what the Moshe Feinstein says, Pshat, right?
Maybe the
So
shade.
that's why I brought this wine, to find out if my Pshat is right or wrong.
That's right, before boiling.
Yeah, let's see.
Even
Give the rabbi there, I'm sure.
once you get something to boiling,
Yes,
like if you're making a soup, once you get it to boiling and you turn it down, it's still cooked.
well, again,
Once
once,
you get it to boiling,
right,
then you turn it down,
right,
it's still cooking.
right.
So I start the process, and by the time that process ends, there's gotta be something that's taken away.
This is what the question, what level you brought it in, to what heat that you started. But Yatzoledes or boiling? I learned only boiling, and he learned the Kiddush, I don't need full boiling, I need one boiling, one moment of boiling, one peak of boiling, one peak. And that's what the Meiri says, clearly the Goyim, so that's what the Rosh means. What is he saying, Hefshem? Just to say that I follow the beginning of the process, not more. That's a pshat. You agree? That's a simple pshat. And therefore, Moshe, it's a big nafkamina halacha. All those wines that people touch, hey, you can have nothing anymore. It's starting. Okay. I want people's eyes to look at it, and many eyes, watch if there's any evaporation. That's another thing. I brought it, okay.
67,
77, 79,
Put the whole probe in.
We need, now it's boiling, it's really boiling.
And it start evaporating, when is it?
It's evaporating.
It's evaporating.
You can already smell it.
Look at this.
At what level it start evaporating?
Now. I see smoke 42, 43, I already start seeing smoke.
So do it
Yes?
again.
So do it again. There's a more. Do it again. Stop it. Stop it. I want to see my own eyes. 1 second. Let's see my own eyes. Turn the camera there.
You have to change.
1 second. Let's check it out. Okay, so I want to see it again. You have some more wine or it's finished? Let's check the wine. At what level it start evaporating?
ISO 40, 43, I think.
So then once it's under pressure,
It's already cooking. It's already vibrating.
what decreases are?
To start new wine, you can't take the ones that can do that. Because it's already,
This wine, what is it?
because it's already heated. Then you're heating it again.
Huh?
Then cool
Okay,
down.
let's get new wine. That's what my Sactus wine. You know my Sactus wine?
Cool down.
Is yours? You open it. Barrel. You want to give us a? No, we have to open it.
But we want to drink it. We want to drink it. We want to drink it.
I want to know what level.
Zero.
And I'll change the wine.
Something's
Put it
happening.
in there.
Because it's strong wine. The same wine? Okay, there's more wine in this part of the building. It's finished? I want to know.
It's wine there. It's wine there.
You change gear here, but it's dangerous. It's very hot. Put it here. I'm afraid that it's gonna. Yeah.
No, it's not too hot. This is a hot cup for hot water. No, but I want to see what
Yeah, we're gonna
temperature.
change the wine. We're gonna change
I don't have any more wine.
We don't have any.
No.
So we have to wait. So we have to wait to put it in the fridge.
Why people don't look at it? Exactly.
He looked at it. He said,
No, I start seeing a little smoke.
faster than the eye.
Let's do it again.
I started to see a little smoke by 42.
You remember 42, 43 degrees, the smoke started.
Okay, so let's start with the conclusion. Because we have a conclusion. Shh. That Moshe Feinstein is right. That's my conclusion if this test is true. I didn't see it, but Moshe Feinstein says two things. That then maybe the evaporation starts before Yatzoledes or at the same time. Right? That's what he says. And according to what we're learning that only when it's boiled, only then it starts the evaporation. And we just now proved that Moshe Feinstein is right. If I didn't see it, that's what he said. He said 280. Good. So although my pshat, I think my pshat in the Rosh
I also
is
saw move something.
but as far as reality, and Moshe Feinstein is right.
He's on 30.
Even less, even by 30, 35. See, I hope you put out, but even 35 starts evaporating. So even Moshe Feinstein is right. That it starts evaporating even less than Yatzoledes. Good. So although in the language, I think my pshat is right, but in reality, Moshe Feinstein is right.
Baruch Hashem Olam.
What?
Probably in the camera of Moshe smiling.
Sure. We found that we say is pshat. You had a problem in reality. The reality is much less. So why the Rosh have to come out to
Your
burn?
pshat is good in the Rosh.
What?
The pshat is very good in the Rosh because this starts the process.
Yes, but you see that a little bit of evaporation of how do you call it? Steam come out already by 30 something. So in reality, Moshe Feinstein is right. So if you ask me now, after we did all this work for the last week, I spent a lot of hours to figure out what it says here. I checked many other places. And you ask me, what's the truth? If the reality, what the Moshe Feinstein says, you have to say that that's what the Rosh means. And when the Meiri says that Tichach has one boiling, doesn't mean boiling. It means one boiling that starts evaporating, which is already even 30 or 40 or something. That's a simplicity because we have to follow the reality. Unless you can say that when Gabriel says that our wine is not strong, but we're talking about an hour day. An hour, that's what it means. In Choyla, that's what it means. So you can look, I think that you could, not as a loch lemaisa, there's a machlekes about it, but definitely, the Moshe Feinstein is not out of the box. Thinking I thought, before we checked it, he's out of the box. He's wrong. Now I say, although I think in the words I'm right, but you can say that's what it means. Reticha achas, one boiling means even 30 or 45 it means it starts evaporating. So although the word boiling means normally something else, but maybe as our Agori, that's what he meant. The other opinion holds, and have to reduce the volume, and that you can recognize that, and that's definitely after boiling some time. But we jump a lot of maybe that's what they learned, but that's how they're going. It is learning that's the halacha. Yes. And according to what you find, that's the beginning of the process. Because already then you have some separation. Even by wine.
And that is called Bishul.
One second. No, one second.
And that called Bishul.
One second. One says no proof. I'm retracting what I said. Because today our wine is mixed with water. Yes. So the evaporation may be started because of the water, not the wine. You have to bring chemists to find out what's evaporating.
No, we have water.
So maybe it's the water evaporating, not the wine.
This wine is without water.
You know what we can see? We have to take the taste. Maybe the evaporation is the water in it, not the wine at all. The wine is much harder.
Sacking wine is not water.
No, that's what the law says. Since I hold, it's just the beginning of the process, so the structure and the texture didn't change. The two palm of the daughters. She says, you're right, it's not shchiach.
No, but that's not shchiach.
But without shchiach, the taste is still there. The Rashba says the taste is gone. Other he's showing an answer. You know why Yayin Mevushal is allowed? Because there's no daughters. The taste is gone. But the Rosh hold the taste is still there. Why? Because it's the beginning of the process. The question, what point is called the beginning? And Moshe Feinstein says, Yatzoledes, the way I read the simplicity to me, and I learned Pshat in the Rosh, is Reticha. That's a simple meaning. But now we check the reality, and I don't even want to know. I know what I checked, because I know what started to evaporate. Is the water evaporating, or is the alcohol and the wine? I don't know.
And you bought that.
I don't know. We need chemistry, or we follow again Rabbi Google.
We have a Rambam also even before. The Rambam says before.
Let's see, what do you say, Rabbi Melech? The Melech.
Water is the higher evaporation point than alcohol.
Is there water in every?
And alcohol is what level?
78 is boiling, but water is 100.
But when it starts evaporating?
It'll evaporate when it's open in the room, in a room temperature. Water goes down at room temperature.
No, but we saw steam.
You think
It starts right away. But it's not boiling.
What?
You think they have water in the wine to make it?
Found that.
Rabbi Sackton makes water with wine.
Sure, he told me that.
Water in the wine?
Yes, he does.
Where do you put water in
Then
the
can we
wine?
ask him?
Yeah, ask him.
And tell him bring a bottle opener.
Ask him. Call him up and ask him.
But no two wines are the same. No, they're all going to.
Okay, but we have to make some kind of rule, a basic rule of
That's
all.
what's in there. There's already a rule, no?
But now we in the middle of searching the rule. What's a true rule? We're only dealing with the language, not the reality. We try to combine reality and language of our sages.
If water is added to it or not.
So here's what?
Water, you add water. Water has to be added to every wine.
Here,
When you make wine, is that correct?
You make wine
You have
with
to know
water.
the wine person has to know that.
You make wine with water, though. You put wine in
That's
there,
what
water.
they do today.
Too cold rather than warm. This is because it warms relatively quickly on its own without.
Wait,
losing
what?
temperature.
Just 1 second.
Above 20 degrees
There's no two.
Celsius,
The Gemara says you don't put three pots of water down warm.
the wine out of balance.
When you make your wine,
Moshe Feinstein is right.
Whatever 20 degrees Celsius
It's
is.
way before. That's what it is.
Now, my turn.
So he just showed me the internet that Moshe Feinstein is right.
discuss. We're not talking just.
What he said, David?
When you make your wine, in the process of making your
But who said that's why we boil it?
About the day,
not one drop.
Not one drop,
Now 1 drop of water?
One drop.
But normal people mix warm water?
No, the wine that
No, you don't. We just boil water.
Well, we need to know when.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. There's no bottles of wine on the stand. There's always gonna be a different alcohol level. So why are we saying
It is not alcohol level, it's not the
alcohol, which temperature? Storage the alcohol.
So good.
About all the question of Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, it was.
It seems to be, we're going to hear what he says in a second. Some people have water support, right? He doesn't. That's why I wanted to open your mouth. Okay, you have to check that. Okay, but normal wine you buy in the stores with water. He gave himself a lot of his bottles with water. And water first for the boys for pool. Listen, it tastes the same. He told me even 2/3 water. Guys,
The second and the third.
What the Gemara says, if you don't put 2/3, it's not
conclusion. Guys,
it says it
my conclusion is as follows.
The Gemara says you don't put 2/3 of water, it's not wine.
But less, but don't know when it's less, it is.
Yeah, but you have to put water.
What?
Water is part of the wine.
It's true. But when we check, it's hard for me to check. Guys, shh. What's the conclusion? The conclusion is that in reality, the Moshe Feinstein is right. That's the reality. The reality is that it starts to evaporate even before Yatzoledesbo, or definitely Yatzoledesbo, and not boiling. And therefore, and since I just need the beginning and I don't need the end, like I said boiling, you know that? So therefore, L'choira Moshe Feinstein is right. The language, okay, we have a problem with the language, but there's still, I'm not throwing out, in my world, the Moshe Feinstein. That's my conclusion. Although in the language I found a lump this way, learn better, but since the reality is right, that's a reality, so then we have to say that's what it means.
Your lump this way was an equation of spores.
Yes.
An equality of a.
That's what Moshe Feinstein did. He made an equation of svoras in reality, and he made his decision. And he's not the only one. Also, HaRav followed him.
According to the reality.
Oh, the reality is that they you have one language. So they explain the language to the people. They won't care. They won't scare them.
All the question of Rabbi Moshe Feinstein starts when Nishanti, when some goy or Jew come to a Jew house and Yatzoles. What it would be if the yayin of a Jew Yatzoles go to a goy? We studied that. Should we be able to buy it after using?
I'm going to talk. I'm going to answer that.
All wines are different, no?
Next week, I want people to learn all the papers I gave, because what we want to speak about is pasteurizing. That's number one. We talked about what measurement is considered bishul. Okay, so we said Moshe Feinstein removed his rayas. I gave another option, but I still think he's in the ball game, in the ballpark, because the reality is that it does get evaporated way before Meticha. So the beginning of the process, that's what maybe what the shach means, and whatever it says. Okay, so he's right, and you have questions in language, but he bypassed it. He says, I'm not so scared of the language, but it means, and the reality follows the words, and he put it together.
I think also with water, when you boil water, before the big pot boils, you can see the smoke in the water.
Right.
Yeah, you can see it evaporate. And alcohol
Before it boils, the water.
Right. Okay, then they say, I saw on the internet, they show me that wine and the alcohol evaporates way before it gets boiled, and it's much even earlier than water, and therefore Moshe Feinstein hers. Guys, let's continue. We have to look for next week, and I want to relate to what Rabbi Reuven asked me, that there's few things we want to learn and check before we move into the Sugiya. One more is, I brought all the poskim about pasteurizing. It's all in the papers I gave out. I wanted to also check this other part of, it's in page 32b, and it's in the earlier papers we gave last week about drinking beer and other drinks in a non-Jewish home, publicly, privately, Jewish home, publicly, and mixed with goy. All those 4 questions we have to deal with. Wine, beer, alcohol drinks, all those things we need to investigate. It's halachah, what the Rambam says, what the poskim say, what the Shulchan Aruch says. I'm going to collect some more information about that. But 2 things we want to do 2 weeks. This coming week, B'ezrat Hashem. Number 1 about pasteurizing, which I don't have time to talk about. It's in the papers here, the poskim. I brought Rav Elyashiv, a couple of tshuvas. We have Moshe Feinstein. We have Rosh we have Revosner about it, back and forth. That's one subject. Number 2 is about other drinks besides wine. Beer, alcohol drinks. At a Jewish home, non-Jewish home, a party in a restaurant, in a hall, who owns the party, who paid for it. What does it mean? And Moshe Feinstein talks about a party meeting or a banquet to invite the girl, the guy pays for it in his house. In the middle ground, all those halachah l'maaseh.
What about non-Jewish?
It's brought here. I think we have in the papers here all that, and if not, we in it up. Okay, that's what he says. That's what he said. I saw many places on the internet that says that Moshe Feinstein is right. So the stuff is right.
3060.
What?
32.
32b. Sheikha. What about beer? But we bought the papers. This one I want to do next week. Yes.
Are we also going to talk about Jewish people who are not religious and drinking with them?
Also, it's also the papers. All's the paper. Nafkamina is Mechal Shabbos, a goy, Mesiba, where the Mesiba is, what you drink, wine, alcohol, cooked wine, Mitz Rimonim, Mitz Tapuchim, all that is halachah, etc.